Welcome, everyone. Big pleasure to see all these entrepreneurs tonight or this evening, not even tonight for the moment. I'm not alone, so I will present myself very quickly, but I have the pleasure to have another entrepreneur, Anis Gorbel, here. He will testimony about the hard work and dedication of an entrepreneur to reach the summit. He will give a testimonial later during this webinar. Please don't hesitate to interrupt and to ask for any question. The idea is to make it as interactive as possible. So my name is Antoine Jourdan. I'm employed by EPFL, one of the two Swiss Federal for Institute for Technology, so engineering school. And the idea today is to be one part arguing, discussing about innovation, or the innovation part, or innovation journey within your startup creation. And we choose the accelerate your innovation journey and generate more opportunities. In our role within EPFL, so we are responsible for industry relation, and we really are in contact with very large corporations willing to do innovation, as well with small or startup or just projects that are going to be created or initiated. And the main word we hear a lot is how can we accelerate our innovation journey, and especially within big corporations. And I think to remain competitive, large corporations will have to, as quickly as possible, identify an opportunity and turn it into a marketable product. And this is absolutely key within large corporations, and is also the same within startups, with the advantage that startups are already agile by definition, but large corporations, they have sometimes trouble to identify these opportunities and to integrate them into the overall supply chain. So the speed will be absolutely key. But in this presentation, I have mainly three parts. The first part is a short introduction about why Innovation Park, why innovation ecosystem can play a key role for the acceleration, the development of a startup. Then the second part will be a description of who we are, what we do, and potentially how to engage with our innovation ecosystem. And last but not least, we will discuss with Anis about the challenges, what are good in ecosystem, and where to start, and how to accelerate as well. And we will, of course, open all the discussion with you tonight. So the first point in my introduction I want to raise, and this is based on the observation or the many requests we have from, as I mentioned before, large but also very small projects. And they try to connect to Innovation Park, innovation ecosystem, in order to meet key success factors related to their projects. And you can find those success factors here on the screen. That's, of course, not all the success factors, but that's the one we hear a lot when companies, projects are willing to connect with us. And well, they are quite obvious. Visibility, funding, credibility, access to market, technology development, new opportunities, and office space. But they are quite important because, for example, if I start with the first one, visibility. If you start a project and you start your way to having a business model or a product, as quickly as possible, you want to be visible to attract investors, to be discussing to increase also the credibility by discussing, if you're a tech startup with other experts that are well known in the industry and can bring you credibility. And visibility and credibility will enable also access to funding. So this is just an example, but equally important, and I will show after. In those innovation ecosystem, mainly in the hotspots around the world or in Switzerland or wherever you are, you will also find large corporations that can enable access to markets. And also in this ecosystem for innovation, you will find many stakeholders enabling different ways of accessing the markets. And of course, and that's, I would say, the essence of an innovation park, it will enable technology development. So, and that's a key element, because when you start your project, I've started 2 projects and not very much technology related, but I'm dealing with a lot of projects. You develop what you have core in your project, but sometimes it's quick that you can think of make or buy strategy. So make is develop your own technology within yourself, if that's not part of your core project, or buy or externalize is to do those projects with technology partners. And these technology partners, Innovation Park are also a key source to find these technology partners. And we will also see later in the presentation, in Switzerland, we have many tools. We have one main tool called InnoSwiss, enabling to finance the technology development, especially with the academic research ecosystem we have in Switzerland. And of course, office space is also a way to be located in an innovation park or innovation ecosystem. And being in this dynamic ecosystem enabled by serendipity, the creation automatically of different opportunities, and to keep pace of what's going on in the ecosystem. And this is related also to this new opportunities point. So you see that what I believe here behind is the environment to develop your project to II is absolutely key in order to develop it as quickly as possible and to be successful. And I hope that we will be discussing this point, especially with Anis, how this environment can best shape your project. So that's really from the project side, from the industry side. And if we move further, we see that, and that's an example of the EPFL Innovation Park. In Switzerland, and to some extent also in Europe, EPFL Innovation Park was a pioneer park. It exists since more than 33 or 34 years, and is quite successful in bringing together corporates, research, and also startups. And you see here the wide diversity of offering for startups in the innovation park. I mention it on purpose, is that all these services are mainly turned at first for spin-off from research. So we create at EPFL a lot of spin-off from the research. We have a whole program to encourage entrepreneurship. I will also elaborate into more detail after. And these tools are here to enable acceleration and development of those spin-offs, but also to some extent for projects that are coming externally. It's just to illustrate that these different services, you find them more and more on innovation ecosystem. And it's not only about hosting, it's also about incubation. And what I understand around incubation is to be able to nurture your idea in order to convert it into a full functional product or business model. So that's the stream of community building, training, and a lot of coaching and mentoring that are also coming from industry or industry experts, all the way to corporate relation, if we deal with large corporation with a specific project, and acceleration. So one part is incubation, is to develop the projects, the idea, the business model, and the acceleration part for the growth of the company and for the scaling up of your project, be it through external financing sources, through VC, so venture cap, corporate VC, or different other grants that you can win on all level. At least in Switzerland, we have a lot of grants locally, especially, for example, in Lausanne, in the States, or in the canton, Swiss-wide, and also to some extent Europe-wide. And the importance of the ecosystem to be well connected with all these layers is absolutely key. And back to the importance of the environment with having all the tools to do that. And last but not least, we do also have some expert programs on sales, on board academy, but also some expert program on specific topic. So for example, we have a program on tech for regeneration, all the startups and projects related to tech for regeneration. We have another one on trust, also on health, and Anis know this topic quite well. So we have all this. I see a question popping here. Is the EPFL Innovation Park the same as this one? No, I will elaborate these points in my presentation. The Switzerland Innovation Initiative, I will cover it just after, but the idea is to make out of Switzerland one innovation park and connect all innovation hotspots together. So EPFL Innovation Park is one site of Switzerland Innovation West EPFL. We have actually a network in the western part of Switzerland and in Switzerland at large. And this is the last slide of my observation, of my introduction, is the key role that Innovation Park are playing for all different kinds of stakeholders, not only startups, not only industries, also VC, also private investor, angels, business angels, as well as for governments. And we want to include more and more citizens also in the discussion in order to be able to act as a catalyst for innovation. And I think this innovation park, having also research and university or academia in it, are playing a more and more important role in all around the world. So for those of you who are not familiar with EPFL, you see in the background, by nice weather, the EPFL community. It's a 25,000 people community. Half of them are students. It's also nice to come back on campus. You feel younger. And the other half are researchers, or we have a community of 3,000 people from the Innovation Park, so professional, with a lot of startup incubated. So you see here that the exchange within the community is also very important for us because we have a proximity. The Innovation Park is located right on campus, so you could be meeting and discussing very quickly with other startups, other industries, as well as all the mentors and programs I mentioned before, but also with students. And students are extremely interesting people with a lot of ideas, and they are able to challenge your ideas as well. You can test your ideas on campus, depending on the business model. So it's really a nice environment also to be discussing. I'm just reading another question. Thank you for this question. Is InnoSwiss agency part of this ecosystem? Yes, they are indirectly. So InnoSwiss is the Swiss agency, the tool for financing. So they put in place the tool, and we implement this tool within the ecosystem. I will also present our colleague from Allianz who are helping for free. So this is a service for free for startups and SMEs to file InnoSwiss projects. In other words, to get funding for research with academia in order to advance your technological product. I like to take one example of what is done at EPFL. It's sometimes quite complex or not easy to grasp what is being developed or researched at EPFL. And I like very much this example of paper plane design because I mean, we have all tried to at least play with paper plane design back when we were young, or maybe still now. And we have a team of researchers at EPFL that are studying paper plane design, and they have actually built a platform enabling the design of paper plane, then the building phase of paper plane through a robot, and the launch of those paper plane into the air. And they've created a platform enabling this different step with retro feedback loop. And I will just show you here in a minute. They have launched hundreds of different patterns of paper plane with hundreds of different design. And I'm just clicking, and you see on the top right, the software is sending the design into the robot. The robot will cut and glue the paper plane and then send it into the air. And they could find out that from the hundreds of different patterns, all these paper planes were falling into 3 different categories. One is nosedive, it's the first in yellow. Then the second one is a linear descent, and the last one is a linear end recovery, thus extending the time and duration and distance of the flight. And in fact, what they have developed here, and they are adding different parameters such as wind, for example, temperature in the experimentation. And they argue that this experimentation will enable a real case aircraft design. And in fact, if you think, they are also paving the way to robot scientist automation. And in fact, they have now projects, for example, with the food sectors, the pharma sectors, for example, to develop a meal based on a certain protein in order to find the best protein for a certain meal, or to find the best drug for the best molecule for a certain drug development. And in fact, you see that from one lab, the applications are multiple. It could be in life science, in foods, mobility. And this is just one lab at EPFL, but we have more than 370 labs similar to this one doing research. And it's quite complex to navigate into this ecosystem. That's why we are here. That's our job when we are in touch with your project, to let you know that, oh, look, there is this research partner doing this research here. They can help you advance your research. They can help you win credibility because we have experts. They can also help you be in touch with some partners that are working on more applied research. And I see another question. Can an online clothes manufacturers apply this application? And if so, how can we access it or access this? I guess so, depending on the retro feedback loop, but I think this mechanism can be well applied for clothing industry. This question needs to be raised with the lab. And how can we access this? Mainly through us. We are happy to understand the business you have in mind and translate it into a scientific challenge, scientific discussion with the lab, together with you, so we can organize a visit then of the lab and be discussing with the experts on the application for clothing, but also on your key challenges that could be done. And this is really our daily bread. This is really what we are good at doing, is trying to understand what you want to do from a business point of view and find the appropriate partner at EPFL. But you will see not only at EPFL, and that's why we have this Switzerland Innovation Network is that we have a huge asset in Switzerland. We have a huge density and diversity of research institutions, really some of them world-class and in very wide field of research. EPFL is more engineering. If you take EHL, is more hospitality. We have the CSEM, world renowned in micro precision, especially for more mature technology. SHUV around oncology or life sciences, University of Geneva. They have a wide scope of competencies, but you can take neurology, for example, or smell. So it's really diverse, and that's the beauty, is to be able to find the competencies you're looking for within a radius of less than 200 kilometers. And this density brings a lot of opportunities of all sizes for you. Just grab another question. Hi, do you have a platform for IT, ICT space data providing subject Earth problems observation? Yes, we do have one. We do have actually multiple, especially in the space sectors, that try to use space technology for Earth observation that can be applied then to different fields, such as insurance, reinsurance technology as well. So we have a lot of research going on imaging, interpretation of imaging as well. So yeah, definitely, we have a lot of actors that we can pinpoint to you. Please grab my email at the end of the presentation. I will be happy to give you some more detail on this topic as well. So I was mentioning, yes, I will. I'm not good at doing two things at the same time. Thank you for the question, but I will definitely, of course. Sorry. I'm taking the question just after the slide here. This is the network you can see in Western Switzerland of what we call the Switzerland Innovation Park in the western part of Switzerland. And this is just an illustration to say that they are really in 40 minutes train drive. I mean, most of you are Swiss guy. If you are close to the border, you know the proximity we have. If you are far away, this is maybe some information relevant to you. And this is the overall project. So I'm presenting the Park West, as you can see here, but we are in close interaction with our colleagues in Biel around advanced manufacturing, in Basel area, around all the pharma and life science as well. So we are doing complementary research and innovation. Innovare, Park Zurich, Park West. So we cover most of Switzerland, and we have an offer that you can be located wherever you can access all those competencies, all the tools wherever you are located. And I think that's one of the beauty of the Switzerland Innovation Initiative, to make out of Switzerland one innovation park. Now I'm taking the question, can someone be considered a partner if the idea is still in its early stages, such as developing an AI bot in a specific field? The general answer is yes. The more mature the idea is, the better it is. But for example, InnoSwiss accepts to some extent, or we at least in our park, access to enter into discussion to try to find a potential partner, and then file an InnoSwiss project. And if this InnoSwiss project is accepted, then to found the legal entity. We often say that we have to move the creation of the legal entity as further as possible in time. The idea is to advance the creation of the ID. So yes, you can engage with us anytime. We are happy to challenge, to discuss about your ID, but you can also challenge the ID within our community. This is why Innovation Park have been designed, is to be the place for creating startup and challenging any ideas of any type from any size of corporation or project. Yeah, I was mentioning this entrepreneurship ecosystem we have also created around EPFL. I just wanted to illustrate that with a few name tag and number of startups. And this is, I think, good to be in such a dynamic ecosystem of startup because it's encouraging. It attracts automatically a lot of investors. And being part of the ecosystem, we will discuss with Anis. Sometimes it's challenging if you come from the external world to be adopted in the ecosystem. But once you are adopted, it brings a lot of visibility because EPFL, ETH Zurich, this innovation park, they enable a lot of visibility, Swiss, but most of it also worldwide, thanks to the cutting edge research they do. It attracts a lot of investors, and you can also play with that with your projects being a part of the innovation ecosystem. And you see here also the diversity of ideas from all fields of application, energy, life science, IT, manufacturing, well, you name it. And to further illustrate the venture cap funding we can attract, at least in the Arclemanic or in total in Switzerland, here is interesting figures to further illustrate that, especially in the western part of Switzerland. It was quite successful, and that's why we can attract a lot of investors from all around the world. And I would just jump one slide, and I will come back to this one after, by saying that we have what we call an investor day. And the idea of this investor day is to enable all startups from our ecosystem, but we are opening it also to external startups, mainly in Switzerland, or at least in Western Switzerland, to be pitching and to be networking with VC. So the next EPFL Investor Day will be taking place on Tuesday, December 10. If you Google Investor Day EPFL, you will land on the page. You can subscribe. There is a morning dedicated for startup pitches and an afternoon for everyone. I think it's a bit too late for pitching, but at least you have that into your radar and you can see and understand the vibrant ecosystem and also potentially meet with VC, even if you cannot pitch. That's quite interesting. You see here in figures, and we are quite positive that the second edition that will be taking place in very soon will attract also the same amount of people and VC or corporate VC as well. This was just an illustration of the value, the startup chain from entrepreneurship at EPFL. So really to enable technology push innovation, so the creation of startups from the research of EPFL. But you see that as soon as, from an EPFL perspective, as soon as there is a legal entity created, it's part of the Innovation Park taking over the discussion, the services. And this seed, Series E, A, B, and C are also open for external projects to be located at EPFL. I'm speeding up a little bit so that we have time with our guest Anis to be giving some information about his experience and to be discussing or answering some of your practical questions. That's the most important. But I want to highlight two things before we switch to the testimonial of Precisia Care. One is that we have an innovation soft landing program, mainly targeting non-Swiss projects, but we have also sometimes Swiss projects in it. The idea is for projects to be testing the ecosystem before settling down, before investing too much time. And this is a program that enables we dedicate one person, one account manager into your project, and the idea is to understand your core business, where do you want to go, and we initiate opportunities for you. The type of opportunities I mentioned before, be it academic, linked with startups, some VC we have, and also corporate partner. You will see it right after. We have a lot of corporate partners that are super interested to be in touch with your kind of project, because that's the way for them to accelerate innovation. And they are very keen to scout for startup as well. Yes, there is a cost. Thank you for the question. It is costing 1,500 Swiss franc per month, and this includes one desk in the Innovation Park right next to us. So we have our offices in the Innovation Park. One floor above is the place where our soft landing companies are located. The idea is to enable this proximity and trust for the generation of opportunities and the access to events, workshops, and also different partner programs. And I highlighted for non-Swiss projects, there is no need to set up a legal entity. And I think that's quite a beauty around that. And I will skip a bit the Swiss part. Is just to mention that my colleague at Allianz are helping here, especially very well shaped for filing InnoSwiss project. I recall you that InnoSwiss project is the financing by the Swiss government of the research part with academia. Company have to match that in kind, so meaning with the people, resources, or some technology you have inside. And we have quite a high success rate, especially at Allianz. More than 80% of the InnoSwiss project we file are accepted. So this is a good way also to accelerate the innovation and to enable credibility also with a research partner. This kind of collaboration, I think, are a good accelerator, and I'm happy to discuss also that with Anis in a second. I will finish with a few name dropping just for you to be aware of type of partner, not only startup. You see here a bunch of startups in the program, but also the type of partner that are scouting for startups. So we really have, let's say, 50 of our key industrial partners that are located in the innovation parks, in the innovation ecosystem, just to scout for projects, to finance them, to collaborate with them, and to be inspired by them as well. And you can see here a flavor of these different corporate partners, and we have direct access to their innovation chief or research innovation officer. So this is a direct link we can also make depending on the interest from both sides. So we are a bit the catalyst in order for them and you to meet. So that was it really quickly. You see an email address. I hope that Tatum will be able to provide mine and my presentation. I will stop the share screening, and it's time now to give the word to Anis. And I think you went through the soft landing. You went through a nice experience with your project. Maybe just present yourself and your company in a few words, and then we can deep dive in the process.
Thank you, Antoine. A pleasure, everyone. My name is Anis. I have a background of engineering, and I'm an entrepreneur, CEO of Precisia Care, an EPFL startup. What we do is we help healthcare providers to reduce care costs and increase patient safety. We do that by thanks to our innovative AI-based platform that collects patient data in real time and push actionable insights to care team.
Thank you. And I want to start a discussion with you, but I mentioned in the beginning the importance of the environment. I mean, maybe you can explain from your perspective the
Yes.
importance of having all these stakeholders for the acceleration of your ID.
Sure. So when we decided that EPFL, the Canton de Vaud, and this ecosystem would be the right ecosystem for our activity, it was key for I think any entrepreneur, especially in innovation, to go fast and efficiently. And so the soft landing program was key because it helped us being operational from day one. As Antoine explained, it was essential for us to be connected as an innovative startup to academia, potential customers, industrial partners, um, and um, and as a startup, you need to be visible to do that, and to have the right introductions. And so by opting for the soft landing program, we've been lucky to have, as if we have an experienced team in the ecosystem that is integrated instantly in our team. And so to go fast, you need to go the right direction, and that's what I can summarize. The soft landing helped us reach to go fast and execute our strategy.
So I can remember that we could generate opportunities quite quickly, but then I know it's a challenge to turn them really into projects.
Yes.
And I mean, what were the most important when you started being in the ecosystem?
Yes.
What was your most important challenges first to be
Yes.
adopted in the ecosystem, and the first couple of steps you made? Was it financing? Was it research? I know research is not bringing a lot of financing in order to sustain. Was it more business? Maybe if you can also tell us a bit from your side.
Well, I think that for any entrepreneur, once he's, I mean, to have new customer, for example, the effort is I mean, you can't bypass that. However, as you presented, Antoine, the ecosystem is so rich that for sure you will have the right, I mean, the people you want to meet, the institutions, the customers are there, but the time that can be saved is to go to the right customer, to the right partner very fast. And what was key is that by yourself and your team, you've been able to understand and to adopt the project, and then guide us exactly to the right person to start the discussions or I mean, working on the partnerships, and or finding the right grants that are key for startups like us.
Yeah. There is a question before I jump to the second I have is how many times did your strategy change before finding your final goal? And what EPFL Impulse do you feel was most helpful?
Uh, uh, as a startup, you need to be agile, and your vision, you have your vision, and your strategy changes, but depend on the opportunities. But what was the other question?
Yeah, what EPFL inputs do you feel was most helpful? And maybe just a side information for the participant. I think you had you had already a product when you came on the EPFL
Yes.
ecosystem. So for you, the most important was to be able to commercialize your product, and in a second priority to add some technology. Is that correct?
Right.
And the commercialization was still I mean, we know money is the is the
Yes.
essence of a startup. So that's your primary goal. We were able to put you in contact with some business partner, but we are not here to do business development for you, and I think that's important. I mean, we cannot do that, but we can put in contact, and I think that's where we can help, I guess. What do you think?
Absolutely, I agree. I completely agree. Um, uh, uh, I agree with what you said.
Yeah, but you also get help from, because we always say that wherever you start in the network, be it the canton, the innovation park, you will find the app. I mean, it's a quite a well meshed network.
Yes.
You also get received a lot of help from the VO Innovo, so it's the VO agency for innovation. So I mean, we are linked to those people, and they help you also a lot from a business and coaching perspective, right?
Absolutely. That's what I tried to say when I said there is a lot of assets in the ecosystem, and the soft landing program, from day one, we've been connected to those assets like Innovo, the grants that are available, the right research labs, um, uh, coaches from the EPFL who can help you in developing the business locally, and also in industry, because when you come to EPFL, that's I mean the central point where innovation is concentrated in the region. And I think that industrial will look, if they look for innovative companies, they will look first here in EPFL. So by staying in EPFL, you're meeting a lot of you have a lot of opportunities to meet with industry. And my advice is for anyone having the idea to come to EPFL is to visit, and it will be obvious how rich the ecosystem is.
Just before taking the question that have been raised, I know that and this is a challenge, at least at EPFL, is to be adopted as a
Absolutely.
startup or a project at EPFL. To be fairly transparent, is that a few years ago, it was very, very difficult for external projects to be even located at EPFL. Now it has been opened a lot, and the adoption is sometimes difficult. Where do you see, Anis, the biggest hurdle to be, I don't know, to have to receive the stempel
Yes.
from EPFL, so that you can
Yes.
stay with it, because it's an interesting asset to attract VC, right?
Absolutely. I think to build trust, it's as in the it is a good first step to be introduced by and adopted by the soft landing program. Help to connect and to be a vehicle to introduce us to the it's already kind of pre-validation into the ecosystem. And but for sure it's a challenge, and this will of course that I think it's like the as an external team coming into the ecosystem, it takes time to build connection and trust, and then to be adopted for sure. But the soft landing program helped us anyway to compress the introductory part in the with the right persons in the ecosystem. What still is this challenge is raising funds, I think, and however, to build partnerships I think it's compared to other ecosystem, it's clearly faster. However, to raise fund, it's everywhere a challenge, and I won't compare, but it's not an easy job anyway.
Yeah, and well, it's a quite down to earth advice that we've been discussing. But I think one way to raise credibility and to in order to also enable more investment from VC or to lower the risk is to partner with a academic institution through an InnoSwiss project. And I mean, this, because it gives the impression that the technology has been adopted by a lab wherever it is. It can be EPFL, it can be another research institution, ETH Zurich. It brings a lot of credibility to the technology and to the startup having the technology as an asset. I think that's key, and I think that's what you are trying to do right now, right, Anis?
Yes, that's what I consider already did, and I mean, it's if there is one strategy to be adopted fast is to collaborate and absorb technology from EPFL, and also there is one aspect that maybe we didn't talk about is to be close from experts and people that you can hire into your company. I didn't mention, but we are very lucky to be incubated in La Forge, which is the main incubator for EPFL startups. And here we meet with we are at the heart of EPFL startups, and it's very important to be close to the EPFL to hire for us engineerings, top level engineering. And this is also a way to be integrated into EPFL faster. It's an indirect way also to build connections with the research labs and the EPFL network.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just taking because we have a couple of questions waiting. I think is back to the third question. How long did it take from start to getting a business partner? 6 months, 1 year? That's a tough question. I guess it depends on your business model. Yeah.
Can you share more all the question? Do you have any like specific idea in mind? Maybe we can translate it into a more accurate timing.
Yeah, that would be good. I need this occasion to be in contact with potential partner on an international market. Thank you. Yes, definitely. Don't hesitate to liaise. And does EPFL collaborate with small companies that will conduct and facilitate innovation workshops? We are in touch to support their growth. Yes, we are in touch with. So we have a lot of different tools, a lot of mentors. We EPFL or research institution, we don't provide directly coach and mentors, but we have a lot of players around that can facilitate that. We usually say that there is more coaches than startup EPFL Innovation Park. So no, we have a lot of them, and please, if you have something specific in mind, don't hesitate also to drop us a line to come over. I think the best way, and I'm still happy that it can only done physically, is to meet in person, have a coffee, and discuss about the matter.
Yes. I just want to confirm that you can't beat the coaching quality that you can have in an EPFL ecosystem.
Good to hear.
Hardly.
What is the best way to be in touch? Best way is through email at first. I mean, the usual way is then having a first email, then we quickly organize an online call. It's the trend nowadays. But as quickly as possible is to have a meeting, to be discussing and exchanging about your ideas and meeting different stakeholders. I think it's the best way to see if there is a potential. Sometimes there isn't, and to find the best innovation park wherever it is. And I think that's, I would say, maybe one of the key takeaways, to visit a few ecosystems, to find where you think is the best fit for your project. Because in Lausanne at EPFL, we cover many things, but not everything. Maybe you can find, for example, for drug developments, is best Basel, or is also best from other ecosystems. So you really need to be deciding where your environment will enable the most flourishing of your companies. And I see my technical partner are in Zurich. So do you think I contact with them? I'm not sure to understand the question, but yes, you can. I mean, in Zurich, they also have a Switzerland Innovation Park, so you can definitely contact them. If you think you need contact also with us, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to make the liaison. Yes. Will you share your email in this presentation? I shared it before in the chat. I will share it again.
I share also the LinkedIn profile of Anis and Antoine on the chat if you want. Yeah,
yes.
that's
right. Thank you so much, Tato.
Welcome.
Yeah. I think we covered most of what I hope would be interesting for you. It's always a start, and I'm happy to take any more question if you have any burning question for Anis, Tatsum, or myself. Otherwise, I hope we can see you soon in Lausanne, in Western Switzerland, or wherever.
Okay, thank you so much. Perfect.
Thank you.